Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2020. The album, Dad AF, the Dramageddon 3 soundtrack. Rock on, Gold Dust Woman. No matter what album I do, that cover will by Stevie Nicks, my favorite musical artist of all time, will definitely be on whatever album I ever release. Okay, let's get into this video today. Today's video is, I have many notes, okay? I have 2 pages of notes. I have like 7 major points I want to discuss. Some of which I've talked about in previous videos, but not really. These are new developments that have happened with things that are coming up about Jeffree Star, allegations that are being made, on and on and on. So I want to talk about all of that. I want to do a quick recap before we get into that. And then I want to go on and I want to go in and I want to talk about several of my points. And so you're just going to have to wait and see, because some of my major points are at the very end of this video. I don't know yet. I haven't filmed the video, but I'm thinking that they're going to be at the very end of this video. So let's get into... Is Jeffree Star, like, is this his fall from grace, okay? And I have to tell you that I do not believe that Jeffree Star will ever be, like, completely canceled. I don't even know what that word means anymore, okay? But do I believe that he will have a fall from grace and he will lose a lot of favor with a lot of people? And yes, I do. I think that we're right on the precipice of that. I think that you have over here his diehard fans. I think you have over here people that were his diehard fans that are kind of done with him at this point. And I think you have a major part in the middle. And this is where I think that how this is all going to go down. You have this massive, I would say like 60 to 70% in the middle that are kind of like watching all of this. And they're like, I don't know if I can continue to support this and yada, 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 right? So I think depending on how Jeffree Star handles all of this, and I don't think that a 2016 Instagram Snapchat story where he comes on and he says, you know, we're not going to do this and I'm bored and I can't relate. I don't think that's going to be good enough anymore. I think that he is going to have to come out and speak to these things, and I think he's going to have to take some accountability. This Jeffree Star worshiping that has been going on forever, that he can do no wrong, I think there's a major percentage in the middle of people that have kind of grown out of that are kind of like, I don't know that I can continue to support this. And I actually have received many, many DMs from people that have spoke to that. I've also received many threats, I will tell you, since I started making these Jeffree Star videos. But I'm going to talk about one of the messages that I received. I asked the person that sent it to me, and she said yes, but keep me anonymous. So, because I think it speaks to the sentiment of how many Jeffree Star fans and stans feel right now, and I think it's understandable what she said. So I want to read that to you in a little bit. But first I want to kind of go back in, and I want to kind of talk about some of the things that's happened in the last week. So Cam Lester came out with his video. This was kind of the first thing, and you know, for the last 6 months or a year, Jeffree Star has been under a lot of scrutiny for things that have happened in his past. And I said in my video yesterday, the reason why, I mean, like, because people excuse it and they say, you know, like, this is from his past, he can change, he's a changed person. I 100% believe that people have the ability to change, okay? I want that for myself. I want that for you. I want that for everybody. I want that for Jeffree Star, okay? I want that for everybody out there. But the question is, has he changed? And I think that's the question today, right? Is like, has he changed? And I said in my video yesterday that if you haven't watched it, go check it out, because I talked about some very interesting stuff at the end of it, about some things that I had heard. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I had heard. So anyway, but you know, the thing is like, has he really changed as a person? Because now we're hearing all of these things that are, I would say, speaking to the fact that Jeffree Star has not changed as a person, okay? And that's where I think people are having issue with it. And like I said in my video yesterday, if he really had changed, this stuff wouldn't continue to come up over and over and over and over again, okay? So Cam Lester came out with his video, then Tab David came out with his video, supposed like, you know, long-term 13-year, 15-year friend of Jeffree Star's, and made, I thought, you know, a very kind of like, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if Cam Lester's videos are true. I don't know. There's people are saying things from both sides. They're saying it's this, it's that, whatever. You have to make your own decision about this. Tab's video seemed so like humble, and like this whole idea that he did it for clout. Like, he gave the video to Sanders Kennedy, okay? He didn't make any money off of it. He didn't want to follow. He said, don't follow me on Instagram. You know, Cam Lester's gained 3,000 followers off of all of this. like I said in my video yesterday, that's a lot of clout. You know what I mean? Like, probably more than he gained for Jeffree Star putting him in a campaign, but whatever. So, you know, there's that. And then Ashley Kyle, you know, she came out and she made a video talking about how she was on Jeffree Star's payroll. Then Sanders Kennedy came out and he made a video talking about Jeffree Star's payroll, blah, 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 whatever. And he released voice notes, not in one video, but in two. And they're very, very telling of who Jeffree Star is as a person recently, in just the last couple years, okay? And so I want to talk about all of that overall, but before I do, I just want to say this, like, you know, in talking about this whole kind of idea of can people change, I believe and I hope, okay, that people change. I really, really do. But when I see somebody that, it's not just one thing at this point, okay? It's not just like it's one picture, or it's one person saying this, or it's one person saying that. I mean, when Jeffree Star came out in his Snapchat, Instagram story, and he said that it was a smear campaign, it was a targeted attack, supposedly. He didn't use those words, but somewhat that. He said it was a smear campaign, right? Well, a lot of what's coming out about Jeffree Star is coming from Jeffree Star himself. I mean, it's old things that he's done, right? Which back up the things that people are saying today. There's also evidence of these things. I mean, there's direct messages, there's voicemail messages, on and on and on. So, I don't know, like, that whole idea, and then when you look at, I mean, it's kind of like detraction away from what he did with James Charles last year. Like, that was a smear campaign, of which we know now that Jeffree Star was involved in that, okay? We even knew that a year ago, because he put out tweets, he supported Tati 100%. Then he comes out in Keemstar's basement interview, and he said Tati should have never made that video. But you supported her 100%. And then also comes out and says that James Charles has, you know, like, that he has something on James Charles, but he doesn't say what it is, okay? So it's just to continue this, it's constant, right? So if it was one thing that Jeffree Star was dealing with, like one picture, I could understand him getting in a video or a Snapchat story or Instagram story and saying, what we're not gonna do is make Jeffree Star drama 2020. I mean, like, or whatever he said at the end of it, you know? But no, you're the center of all of this drama, okay? So that's the first thing I wanna say. The second thing is, you know, he came out with this statement the other day. I talked about it, just the first part, or the second part I talked about it on there, where he talked about I'm a changed person. So anyway, but in the statement, he's talking about these pictures that have come out from the past. And I think at this point, everybody has seen these pictures. Everybody knows what these pictures are, okay? But he says in there, these pictures are from 2004 to 2006, and whatever. And he says in there, I can't even read my writing. He will always be deeply sorry for anyone who had to see those pictures, okay? And you can go read his statement. It's up on his Twitter account. And what's interesting to me about that is I started getting, like, literally as soon as the statement came out. Well, I mean, I received this picture long before the statement came out. But to just show that he lied in the picture, if you go to his prom night video, one of the pictures that he is referencing is in the prom night video on YouTube. It's still on YouTube, okay? It's in the first 10 seconds of the video, because I wanted to go and fact check it. So I was like, I want to go see it. It's on Jeffree Star Vivo. You can go see it yourself. And as soon as you start watching it, the picture's in the background. Well, if he's so sorry and it's so, like, upsetting for him to have to see this picture, take down your video. Why would you leave that video up as a reminder? Now, I don't think that he has checked this video in quite some time, so it doesn't look like he's done anything to it, because when you go to it, the merch store that's linked underneath there is District Lines, okay, which is like the old one that he probably used, not Killer Merch. So he hasn't gone in there and done anything to edit this video or do anything, which tells me he hasn't even gone in there to go look at what this video is about, okay? So the picture is still up and it's still on the video. So if you have such issues with it, why is the video not coming down? That's my first thing, okay? So okay, there's that. Then I wanted to go in and I wanted to talk about, he said he doesn't talk about his friends in the Snapchat and Instagram story. So that to me, okay, first of all, the picture was kind of like lie number one. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm sure he'll come out with some kind of excuse, like, oh, I put the picture in the video for a certain reason and yada, yada, yada. But if you had such an issue with the picture at that time, right, because you said you did, like, and you didn't, like, you know now, like, why would you put it in there in 2012, okay? 6 to 8 years later, you put the picture in the video. And the video is still up in 2020. It's not like the video has been taken down. So that's the first thing, okay, that I have an issue with. Like, to me is like, okay, well, are you lying? So then the second thing is that, you know, he goes into this Instagram Snapchat story and he's like, I don't talk about my friends behind the scenes. Like, I know you guys I know you all want me to think that I talk about my friends behind the scenes and yada, yada, yada. Okay. So flash forward to Sanders Kennedy coming out in not one but two videos where he shares voice messages with Jeffree Star, which I think most of us have those voicemail messages, some of which, you know, or some of those. But anyway, he goes in there and I was honestly, and I don't want to take credit away from Sanders Kennedy. He actually, I thought, really addressed, he appropriately addressed, like, how to use his information. He said, just credit me if you want to use my voicemail notes, which I thought was great how he said. He said, you can use them, just credit me for them. So I thought that was cool. But anyway, he goes in these voicemail notes, and he says, he talks about Jacqueline, Nikki, Manny, Laura. I mean, he goes on and on. These people that were his friends at that time. In fact, at the time that he was friendly with Jacqueline Hill, he says that she always plays the victim. So you don't talk to your friends about your friends behind their back. So you only talk to drama channels about your friends behind their back? Because I know you talk to me about your friends behind your back. So you talk, and you talk to Sanders, and you talk to Ashley. I mean, so you do talk to people, but maybe it's just drama channels you talk to about your friends behind their backs. Maybe it's not your friends that I don't know, right? Like, that's baffling to me. Okay. Whew. So then let's get into the next thing, okay? The next thing is this Liam McAvoy video. Do you know what I'm talking about? So Liam McAvoy made two videos, and I don't know the names of the videos, but the first video was basically just a breakdown of the history of Jeffree Star, okay? Extremely well done. The second video, I mean, so well researched, it was unbelievable, okay? The second video was kind of this anthropological study because Liam talks about, you know, studying anthropology and all this kind of stuff. It was, I just sat there like this. Like, I am so dumb watching this video. It was so brilliant. And I have been talking to Liam, and I told Liam, I said, you're absolutely brilliant. You needed to, well, hold on a second. So, Liam did the second video, and he broke down the stan culture of Jeffree Star and why people stand by him and why they defend him. And it was so interesting. And one thing that he said in there was that, you know, in stan culture, like with whoever it is, like, we are willing to forgive people if they did things that we have done similar in our own past, because indirectly we're defending ourselves. We're not defending them. And I was like, that's really true. Like, I think that's so true. But when this video was brilliant, okay? Brilliantly researched, brilliantly done. Not to mention, just to listen to Liam is like listening to ASMR. I mean, and hilarious too. Absolutely hilarious, right? So I reached out to Liam because if you don't know, what you don't know is a lot. Liam has had copyright strikes on these videos. Allegedly, okay, the name on the copyright strike is Jeffree Star, but anybody could put that on there, so nobody knows if this is from Jeffree Star or not, that these copyright claims are coming from. I will tell you, Liam has retained legal representation, as well as is working with YouTube on these strikes to get the videos back up, okay? One of the things I want to tell you about this video that's interesting that got taken down is, hold on a second, I want to, that he was actually donating all of the earnings from one of the videos to the charity Color for Change. Wasn't making a cent off of this video, okay? Was donating all of the proceeds from these videos, of which got hundreds of thousands of views, to Color for Change. That's interesting, don't you think? I mean, so all of this whole kind of like, you're trying to benefit off of this, no, not one bit, okay? Donating all of the proceeds to this, right? So anyway, I talked to Liam. I told Liam, I said, hey, listen, I said, you could have done this video without one picture, without one video clip, without anything, and it still would have been absolutely brilliant, okay? But what's interesting to me is why these videos are coming down, okay? And while we're talking about this, I just want to say, okay, in referencing to this idea, because I always talk about how different people are held to different standards, and I know that I'm about to stir some waves, but to be honest with you, fair is fair, okay? Do y'all remember that movie with Helen Slater back in the day? The Legend of Billie Jean. I mean, Billie Jean said it. She goes, fair is fair. Do you remember that? She said it. And then Pat Benatar's song came on, all right? It's fair is fair, okay? Manny MUA, back in the day, this was like, I think at the end of 2018 or I don't know when it was, maybe 2019. Manny MUA made a copyright strike on a video of tea spills. Now, the story is something to the effect of, I could get this wrong, but I don't think so, because I tried to fact check with somebody that knows these things, a friend of mine. The story is that Manny had come out and he had supposedly like said that he didn't really like this foundation, this Morphe foundation, blah, 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 whatever. And then he came out and he made a video about it, singing their praises, supposedly, allegedly, I don't know, something to this effect. It had something to do with some kind of makeup brand and him saying he liked it, then him not liking it, and then him saying he did like it, or something like that. And I think maybe even had to do with shade ranges and things like that, okay? So, T-Spill basically came out, and I think the video, I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. Educate me in the comment section. Correct me if I'm wrong. T-Spill came out and made a video basically calling Manny out and saying that, you know, like, the only reason you're saying this is because you're a Morphe affiliate, okay? And you put money in your pocket for Morphe, right? When I tell you that the internet and Twitter went absolutely crazy in defense of T-Spill for getting what is allegedly a false copyright claim, I mean to tell you, everybody fought for this, okay? Everybody. Now, I know several drama channels that talk to Manny MUA on the phone, including myself. I had a very lengthy conversation with Manny MUA on the phone telling him, you need to take down this copyright strike. Okay, this is the right thing to do. Like, you need to allow her to have her voice and stop silencing her. All she's doing is reporting on what you did, okay? I had that conversation with him. I know several other drama channels that had that conversation with him, and the next day, Manny came out. He took the strike off. I think he talked to T-Spill, and he came out and he apologized for it in a video. Okay, or something like that, or on a statement on, I don't know, but he came out and said about it, okay? We make constant excuses for Jeffree Star, okay? But Manny's not held to the same regard. You know, Nikki Tutorials isn't held to the same regard. James Charles is definitely not held to the same regard, you know? James Charles, a year ago, was canceled. It affected his, I mean, the second sale or whatever came out on the palette, he couldn't sell them out. They were in every store. I used to make a joke about it on videos of mine. Do you guys remember? People would send me constant screenshots of his makeup palette being on the, what do you call it, the clearance rack at Ulta and places, right? Oh, but Jeffree Star's coming out with a restock tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll sell out in 5 minutes flat. So, you know, speaking of that, like, I just wanted to, okay, so that's what I wanted to say about, you know, Liam McAvoy. Like, why are we not all coming together and saying that this isn't fair? Okay, this isn't fair for Liam. That Liam came out and he made this video, and now he is not, you know, like, he's got this copyright strike on his video, and he doesn't even know who to contact. You know, like I was saying, like, I don't know who to contact either, right? Because we're not one of these bigwigs up at YouTube. Like, we don't get, like, you know, personal telephone calls and all that kind of stuff with these people. Yeah, sure, I have a YouTube manager, but if I called the YouTube manager up and said, can you help me with this Liam McAvoy thing? He'd say, Peter, I don't have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? So, it's just, you know, it makes me really, really sad. And I think that we all should be helping Liam at this point. I really, really do. Okay? Makes you wonder what was in that video. You know, if somebody didn't want that video up, what's in it? And I'm not saying that it was Jeffree Star, because I've checked with several sources, and you can put, and Liam's not saying that it was Jeffree Star either, because you can put that on the report, and it may be, and it may not. Nobody knows, okay? So I don't know what will come out from all of that. But then the next thing I wanted to talk about is that I do think that the fall of grace is starting to happen. Jeffree Star has lost 100,000 subscribers, if not more, in the last couple of days. I think people are starting to see things differently. It's nothing compared to 3 million that James Charles lost a year ago, which is interesting, you know? And I'm not saying that he should. But if James is going to be held to this regard, okay, and lose 3 million subscribers. I mean, people were literally putting up videos just watching it tank, okay? Everybody was making videos about the loss and the gain and who was gaining and who was losing. I'm sure I made a video about that back in the day, right? So Jeffree Star's lost 100,000 subscribers. Well, I just think this is the beginning. I do. And I think somebody is going to come out and say something, and I think it's going to be somebody big. I do. For quite some time, I have heard from several different people behind the scenes that there is a piece of information. Well, Jeffree Star alludes to the fact that he has some audio clip, okay? And I don't know what that is, but I have speculated, and people have told me what they think it is, okay? But I don't know. You do your own math on that. But I have also heard that Tati and James supposedly have some piece of information behind the scenes. I have no clue what that is. I don't know, whatever, okay? But if that's the case, then you basically have a standoff at this point, right? Like, who's going to come out first and talk about it? Well, James is doing really well. The thing that's interesting about this is that, like, you know, Jeffree always talks about all these people being bothered with him. Like I always say, Jeffree's the most bothered person in the world, right? You're copyrighting, striking people, you're blocking people's on their Twitters, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're coming out with Snapchat stories saying, you know, like, I can't relate, I'm so bored, whatever, blah, 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 whatever, okay? I mean, what? Like, no, you're completely ate up with this stuff. You know, I can remember back in the day when I was talking to Jeffree Star, and he would, like, send me a text message of, like, somebody's tweet, okay? And it would never be anything that big of a deal either. And it would be somebody's tweet, like James Charles, and it would say, like, what do you think about this, right? And I would go look, and literally James had posted it, like, a minute before. So when people tell me that Jeffree Star is not consumed with what happens on Twitter, are you kidding me? No, he's absolutely ate up with it. This is what he does. I think this is what Jeffree Star does 24 hours a day. Okay, which I have a theory about the blocking thing in just a second, because I was always like, why does Jeffree Star block all these people? I really couldn't figure it out. Okay, but I think I have a theory that I want to talk to you about in just a second. So I think it's going to take somebody coming out, and I do think it's going to be detrimental to Jeffree Star. I really do. And I think Jeffree Star right now is at a point where he could come out and he could really, like, save himself. Like, he could come out and address all of this. And like I said in my video yesterday, not come out and say what we're not going to do and these people weren't my friends. You have text messages with these people. You have voicemail messages with these people. I mean, 3 to 4 people are going to come out, you're going to say they weren't your friends too. I mean, I know you don't have friends. I know you don't know what the definition of friendship is. Okay, but it's when you interact with somebody on a friendly measure, it's not just like you use them for something and then when you're done you just throw them away. Okay? No, that's not what a friendship is. Now, I don't know if you know that, but all these people that were supposedly old friends that you can't be bothered with anymore, all of them, okay? Nikita Dragon, which somebody said in my video yesterday, everybody forgets that Nikita was friends with him. Nikita Dragon, Manny MUA, James Charles, Tati Westbrook, all these people, they are literally living their best life. They are not tweeting out and worried about Jeffree Star, okay? They are not. So, you know, it's interesting to me that the tables have kind of somewhat turned, and he's the one that continues to kind of indirectly bring up all this stuff. It's going to take one person to come out and say this, and you know, I want to tell something. So I was watching... She is one of my favorite people in the entire world. We talk about ASMR. She literally is so relaxing to me, and it's B. Lucille tarot card readings. I love B so much. So I'm going to link her channel below. I've also in the past talked about Aphrodite, and Aphrodite has come out with a lot of videos in the past couple weeks talking about some of this stuff that have been like right on. Well, B has come out with some videos that are like literally right on. And she posted a video today that she filmed on Wednesday, which is interesting because she says in the video, I'm filming this at Wednesday at 8 p.m. She says at the beginning of the video, and things that have come out in the last 2 days are like, what? Like, how did she know some stuff and stuff that's being even speculated today, like, after she put her video out? I'm like, how does she know? Like, okay, so it's crazy. And she goes in there and she talks about Jeffree, she talks about Shane, she talks about Shane and another woman, and that they're really conflicted right now with what they're supposed to do over this, and should they tell the truth, and what secrets are they keeping? And she goes in there and she says at the end of it, this is the beginning of Dramageddon 3. She says it. She talks about Nathan, and that Nathan is being, like, pushed to come out and talk, but he doesn't really want to. And she says there's legal things he can't talk about, but there's a lot that he can. She goes in there, I mean, you guys, this reading is unbelievable. So go check out B. Lucille, and she is absolutely a sweetheart anyway, and I just love her voice. And she always says at the beginning of it, how you perking? Hope you're perking good. I love her so much. I do. I could just listen to her all day long. So she says all of this stuff in there, and you know, it's just so interesting to me when you think about all of these players that have been going down, and people say like, why do you care about Dramageddon 1 and Dramageddon 2? Dramageddon 1 and Dramageddon 2, it's like saying, it's like if you're getting ready to watch, like, I don't know, like, Return of the Jedi, and you're like, why do you care about Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back? Because you wouldn't understand Return of the Jedi if you did not understand what happened in Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Okay, you just wouldn't, whatever. Listen, I'm just starting to watch them this summer, so bear with me, okay? But you know, it's the same thing with like the Godfathers. If you didn't watch Godfather 1 or 2, how are you gonna know what's going on with Godfather Point 3? Or Friday the 13th, or Halloween Part 3, it just kind of goes away, but I've gone on a tangent. Okay. So then I want to go in here and I want to talk about this message that I received, because I do think that this is very telling. Oh, first of all, before I get into that, I want to say this was very interesting to me. So Jeffree Star put out today this tweet, and the tweet says, tomorrow the iconic cremated and jawbreaker palettes are returning. Don't be late, launching at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, what's interesting about this is that I have always, when Jeffree Star announces a launch, gone over and looked at his Twitter to see, okay? And what's interesting to me about this is that Jeffree always just is like, oh my God, I have to have it, I have to have it, I have to have it, oh my God, I can't wait, I'm already waiting, all this kind of stuff, right? But when you go through here, it's like every 5th tweet is something extremely negative. He like literally never gets that, you guys, on his Twitter threads, okay? So this is where also kind of like more evidence that maybe like things are starting to change. So it says on here, somebody retweeted him or tweeted him and said, I can't believe that you have the audacity to throw your friend Tab under the bus, use Cam's breakup against him, manipulate Tati into making the Bi Sisters video, use Ashley Kyle for your own personal gain, and tried to ruin James Charles' career. That was one thing. Somebody else said, something about his picture, okay, and said, referencing to that makeup and when is it coming back. The picture that he said he doesn't want to talk about anymore, which is in the prom night video. And this one said, when is lipstick restock? Like kind of being shady. And this person says, did you even read his last post? It wasn't a makeup brand. I'm not happy with the name, but the context is necessary. It was a blog. Well, it's also in his music video. So I don't know, you know. And someone said, yeah, this person responded and said, yeah, I read it and it was just a bunch of excuses. Someone else said, don't care. And then she responded to it with Jeffree Star blocked her right after that, which I want to talk about in just a second. Someone said, we thank Liam McAvoy for exposing you even more. Sad that you had to copyright strike a small YouTuber. And someone said, well, they fight in there, and then it's just more and more. And someone said, you love your past. And then they put in the prom night, the picture, okay? So, you know, I'm talking about this blocking thing. I really never understood why Jeffree Star blocks. I mean, he literally, you guys... Sorry, sweetie. Okay, I had to stop it because my husband is upstairs watching something. It was a commercial on it, and so it started playing. So anyway. But, you know, like, Jeffree Star is, like, he literally blocks people left and right constantly. I'm blocked by Jeffree Star on all platforms. I don't care. I can go into my fake accounts and look up stuff, but whatever. You know, but like he constantly, I mean, I literally every single day, I mean, I have, every day I see people that are talking about him blocking him, right? And I couldn't really figure it out. And then today when I was looking through here, I was like, there's still so, I mean, I thought, honestly, I thought his launch would just be like threaded with things, because you can't go in there and delete them, right? I thought it would just be threaded with all of these comments of people saying, you know, like, oh, Jeffree this, Jeffree that, because there are. It's like every 5th comment, but it's not as many as I thought it would be. So, you know, what's interesting about that is if you block everybody that thinks negatively of you, if you literally block anybody that has a negative thing to say about you, when you put something out, it's only your fans that are going to be responding to it. So you're only going to see good things, right? So that's why he blocks so many people, because then when you look, it looks like, well, it's just all this greatness, right? That's what it looks like, you know? I don't know. Okay, so do you get what I'm saying? Like, if every time somebody leaves a negative tweet on his Twitter thread or whatever, if he goes in and blocks them, then that's one less person the next time that he puts out a tweet that's going to be able to leave a negative comment that we can see. Like, they can still do it, but we're not going to see it. Does that make sense? So the more people that he's blocking, it's more of like this, hey, I'm living in this fantasy world where I'm only getting positive comments. And then people are seeing it, and they're not seeing the 3,000 people. I'd like to see Jeffree Star's block list. I mean, he's probably got, I don't know, 100, 200,000 people on that block list, you know? So that's, you know, let's just say if he only has 100. Let's say he only has 100 people blocked on Twitter. Well, if he only has 100 people blocked on Twitter, then every time that he tweets something out, we're not seeing their response to that because they can't see what he's tweeting out and they can't respond to it. So we're only seeing the good tweets. You know what I mean? So it's like living in this fantasy world, right? Of like this, it's like this whole kind of yes man mentality that everybody's been talking about, that Jeffree Star surrounds himself with yes man. Well, I don't know if it's Jeffree Star or if it's team that's going in and blocking all these people, because Jeffree Star can't handle any negative criticism whatsoever. But anyway, okay, I want to get into this last part, and the last part is that I received several messages from fans of Jeffree Star. Like I've said, I have received my fair share of really not very nice comments and messages. Well, not comments. I mean, everybody's been pretty nice on my videos. But I've gotten some DMs and stuff like that I'm just like, okay. But anyway, so I want to get into this message that I received from a fan of Jeffree Jeffree Star's, because I think it speaks to that 60 to 70% that I talked about at the beginning of the video that are like kind of in the middle right now. And this is where I think that Jeffree Star going forward has to be very, very careful, because I think if he does like one wrong thing or like whatever, you know, like B. Lucille in her tarot card reading, like it's for entertainment purposes only, and it's all allegedly. She says at the beginning of her video. But she says in there that Jeffree Star is going to start getting like messy with receipts and voice messages and things like that. And it's like he is doing that though. Like he's feeding these things out to people, like with the Cam Lester thing and other things. So it's like at some point, if he keeps on putting this out there, I mean, it's something that, I don't know, like something's going to come out that is going to be perceived in a different way, you know? And so I think he has to be very careful of the 60 to 70%, because if he came out right now and these people that love Jeffree and they look up to him and they made him happy and they made him, you know, they laughed at his stuff and they love to follow his life, if that's 60 to 70% of people out there that have put money in his pockets that love Jeffree on a daily basis, you know, and look up to him and they cheer him up, which I'm going to talk about in a second, if they fall out of grace with Jeffree Star, that's a major part. You don't even need to talk about the major stands anymore. The stands over here that will look past anything that Jeffree Star will ever do and whatever over here, okay? You don't even need to worry about that, because that's what's going to happen with that 60 to 70%, is that they're going to fall out of grace. And it's going to take one or two things further to happen, because at this point, he's not addressing any of it. And, you know, I will tell you this. B also brings, like I said, Shane up a lot in this. I do think it's going to be interesting to see how Shane handles this, because I don't think that Shane can just back away from this and not have any kind of discussion whatsoever about what's going on. I mean, I think Shane thinks, I'm just going to ride this out. Somebody put on my video yesterday, do you think that Shane put up this Demon in the House video to see what the react, and he got millions of views on it, okay? And the likes to dislike ratio was like hundreds of thousands of likes and hardly no dislikes. So, you know, somebody said, do you think that Shane put this video out to just kind of test its popularity? See, I don't know how they said it, but to see if possibly, you know, like, if people are going to come for me hard or whatever, because on Twitter, when he announced it, so many people came hard. So you have to remember, a lot of the people that watch YouTube are not on Twitter, they don't follow social media, they don't see the drama videos, so they don't know about all of that kind of stuff. But do I think that Shane Dawson could have a fall from grace as well? It depends on what happens with Jeffree and if he gets ahead of it. Like if he comes out and says, hey, listen, I got to talk to you guys about some stuff and, you know, whatever, then I think that it could save Shane Dawson. But do I think that there's a sinking ship going down somewhere, you know? And I don't know, like it's going to see who jumps off first. You know, it's going to be interesting. So anyway, I want to read this message that I received, and this is from an anonymous person. She asked to be anonymous, but she said, I just watched both of your new videos today, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to leave a public comment. I just wanted to say that I was one of those people you spoke about that actually got annoyed with you when you started to talk more negatively about Jeffree Star, because I had said that to talk about Jeffree Star in a negative way, you just get backlash, backlash, backlash. So you couldn't do it until now, right? Because now, and still even now you do it, and like your DMs are threaded with like, you know, negativity and stuff. So anyway, she said, I just wanted to say that I was one of those people you spoke about that actually got annoyed with you when you started to talk more negatively about Jeffree Star. And there is now so much more information, there is now so much information coming out about the person he really is that it's hard to ignore. And I feel bad that I ever strayed from you. It's funny about Jeffree though. It's like, I still don't want to believe he's really a bad person. I used to look forward to seeing his snaps in the morning, and he talked about taking care of yourself, and it was like he was personally checking on my well-being each day. That is maybe how a lot of his stands felt or feel, and why they continue to defend him. It's hard to admit you were wrong about someone. It's hard to let go, and it's a little embarrassing to see how naive you were. At least that's how it is for me. Anyway, just wanted to share this with you, but I didn't want anyone to come for me in the comments. And you know, I think that that's probably how a lot of people that have stood by Jeffree Star through the years feel. Like, you know, that he gets up every morning and he's, you know, on his Snapchat and all this kind of stuff, and they feel like they have this personal relationship, and he's banking on that. He's banking on that personal relationship to continue to help him in the future. So I don't know. I guess you have to ask yourself, like, what is my personal relationship as a fan and Jeffree Star, this person, on YouTube? You know, if he's gonna get on video on Snapchat and Instagram stories and say that people that weren't friends or were friends of his are now, they were never my friends, and he's gonna lie about things, like, how honest is he being with you? How honest is the person that you're fanning and defending being friends? And that's something that you guys are gonna have to decide. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.